also guess that many really good manuscripts come to you today because agents or fellow editors or assistant editors see it as a Ben George book. Is that so? And do you miss anything about the early days of reading through the slush pile at say a literary magazine?
Um, I think the first part does become true, especially the longer that you're at a place. What you publish tends to define you. Um, you get a certain reputation. Agents, especially within the same agency, talk to each other, and even an agent who doesn't know you might talk to others who do. And yeah, I would say that I had a very particular kind of lane at Little Brown, which, was, to pretty much anchor the literary fiction and serious literary nonfiction at the house. So sometimes it can be frustrating because you can get a little pigeonholed and maybe you want to try something new or different. So you have to work a bit to change people's perception, perhaps, of what you could do. But and as to the second part of the question, I definitely miss the hunt. I mean, one of my favorite stories of discovery actually is Emma Cline, who many people probably know for her huge bestseller, The Girls. Um, well, we had published her first story at Tin House, and it was just one that I had pulled out of the slush. Um, and I guess going back to your first question, what do you look for where it's hard to explain? I still remember the opening line of this story, uh, which was we live in Tassilak in eastern Greenland, where the jutting coasts curve in on each other like crab claws. And I just thought, wow, you're taking me to some fascinating place I've never been. And what an image to start out a story with. This is a writer I'm going to trust. I can't wait to see where she takes me. So we went through, took it to the board. We accepted the story for the magazine. She was a new voice. It was in an issue that also had stories by Stephen King, Stephen Millhauser, Anthony Doerr, and Ian Lee. She was the only new writer. And when we sent her the contract, she said, do I need to do anything special, like have my parents sign this since I'm a minor? And it turned out that she was only 16 years old and she had written this incredible story. So I do miss those days. Those are really fun. You know it well, all your years at the Missouri Review, getting to be on the front line and be the first person to encounter an exciting new talent. That is fun. You're not doing that as the book editor, but I think the excitement is first, if you can persuade the house, you might be able to offer an advance that really changes this writer's life and validates what they're doing. And you also think, I get to be the person to help them bring this great work across the finish line, and then the conduit to really help connect it with what you hope will be many thousands of readers. So there's still excitement in that, but I definitely have missed that frontline discovery opportunity.
Your discovery of Edith Perlman's almost, I mean, it's almost a myth, and it's a well-known publishing story. But tell me a little bit about her and the story collection Binocular Vision and the pivotal role that played in your editing career.
It's funny because in a way, Edith is the other extreme from Emma Cline because she was in her 70s at the time that we published Binocular Vision. She said she felt 14 at heart, so maybe there's something in common after all. But I think with Edith, discovery would be too strong or giving me too much credit because she had published 3 story collections before. She had stories reprinted in Best American Short Stories, O. Henry Prize, Pushcart. I think she had been in all of those. But it was strange that she just didn't seem to be more widely known. And I had first tried to publish her at Tin House, but that was sort of at the tail end of when I was there, and the timing didn't work out. So when I got to Ecotone and my colleague Emily Smith and I were starting Lookout Books, I thought that she would be a great opportunity for us to do as our first book, and to do a big new and selected stories, sort of gathering the best of the previous 3 books, and then some fantastic new stories. And I just thought, for me, she was a short story master. Every story I read, I was so dazzled by the intricate way that she had fit it together. You could read it, it would be incredibly enjoyable, but then you would go back and you could keep discovering more things each time and be even further wowed. And I think what was so thrilling was to realize that she was a bit of a writer's writer. Even though the first 3 books, none of them had sold even 1,000 copies. But it turned out, when you asked other writers, they had so much respect for Edith. And we got so many blurbs when we would send out just people who really idolized her. And then I asked Ann Patchett to write an introduction for the book, and I was very apologetic, and I said, we just have so little that we could pay you for this. And when she wrote back, she said, not only could you not pay me, but I would pay you to write this introduction for Edith. And she spoke in that about Edith's secret handshake status, and how it was time for her to cast that off and be understood alongside Updike and Monroe as the national treasure that she was. And it was a fairy tale. It snowballed from there. It got reviewed on the front cover of the New York Times Book Review. She won the Penn Malamud National Book Award finalist, as you mentioned, National Book Critics Circle Award winner. And in terms of how it affected me, then because of that, I started meeting a lot of publishers and book editors in New York from coming up for these various events. And eventually, one of those led to a job offer from Penguin, which I ended up taking.